I'm Blake, your host. If you're new here, this channel is all about helping you improve your English every day. We upload new listening practice episodes daily, designed for learners from B1 to C2 levels. In today's episode, we're talking about something really important: how to stay motivated when learning English. It's not always easy to keep going, but with the right mindset, you can keep making progress. Let me begin by telling you a quick story. A few years ago, I met a man named Ahmed. He was from Egypt and had a dream of working in an international company. But the biggest challenge he faced was his English. He told me that in the beginning, it felt like he was climbing a mountain with no end in sight. He studied for hours, practiced speaking with anyone who would listen, and even kept a journal in English. But sometimes, he still felt like giving up. What helped him stay motivated? He set small goals. Every week, he focused on learning just 5 new words and using them in real conversations. He told himself, "Even if I make mistakes, I'm still learning." That mindset changed everything for him. Within 2 years, he landed a job at a global company in Dubai. Not because he was perfect, but because he never stopped. You see, motivation isn't about feeling excited all the time. It's about building habits that support your learning, even on days when you feel tired or frustrated. One thing I often suggest is keeping a success journal. Every time you understand a podcast, finish a chapter of a book, or speak to someone in English, write it down. These little wins will remind you how far you've come. Let's think about another example. Sarah, a nurse from the Philippines, needed to pass the IELTS exam to move abroad with her husband. She had 2 small children and worked night shifts. But she made time. Every morning while cooking breakfast, she listened to English podcasts. On her days off, she practiced writing essays. Her secret was consistency. She didn't study for 6 hours one day and nothing the next. Instead, she studied 30 minutes every day. That regular habit helped her stay connected to her goal. Motivation also grows when you connect your learning to your life. For example, if you're a teacher, read articles about education in English. If you love science, watch English documentaries with subtitles. That way, learning doesn't feel like a chore. It becomes part of your world. Now, let's talk about something really powerful: community. Learning alone can be hard, but if you find a partner, join an online group, or even comment under videos like this one, you'll feel less alone. When you share your struggles and victories, you get encouragement, and sometimes you end up encouraging someone else too. Let me share one more story. Daniel, a taxi driver from Brazil, started watching English YouTube channels during his lunch breaks. At first, he didn't understand much, but he kept going. One day, a passenger from the UK complimented him on his English. That small comment boosted his confidence so much that he started speaking more with his international passengers. He told me, "That moment changed how I saw myself." And that's the thing. Motivation is often born from action. You don't wait for motivation to come. You create it by doing small things every day, even when it's hard. So today, I want to encourage you. If you're tired, rest, but don't quit. If you made a mistake, learn from it. If you feel stuck, remember why you started. Learning English is not a race. It's a journey, and every step you take matters. Now let's break this down into some useful tips. First, set clear goals. Instead of saying, "I want to be fluent," try something more specific like, "I want to learn 10 new phrases this week." Second, create a routine. Maybe you study vocabulary after breakfast, or listen to this podcast while doing chores. Make English a natural part of your day. Third, reward yourself. After completing a study session, treat yourself. It can be a short walk, a phone call with a friend, or a small snack. These little rewards train your brain to see learning as something positive. Fourth, don't be afraid of mistakes. I'll say that again. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Every fluent speaker you know has made thousands of them. The key is to keep going and keep learning. And finally, surround yourself with English. Change your phone settings, read the news in English, and speak to yourself out loud. These little habits make a big difference over time. There's another thing that really helps with motivation: tracking your progress. A lot of learners don't realize how much they've improved because they don't keep track. Imagine you start learning English today, and after 3 months, you can have a 5-minute conversation with a stranger. That's a big achievement, but if you didn't record yourself on the first day, you might not notice the difference. That's why I always recommend using a notebook, a phone app, or voice recordings. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just right. A few sentences each day, or speak for 1 minute about your daily routine. Later, you'll see how much better your grammar and pronunciation have become. Let me tell you about James. He works as an engineer in the UK and wanted to help his wife, Anna, improve her English. Every evening after dinner, they would sit together for 15 minutes. James would ask questions like, "What did you do today?" Or, "What's your plan for tomorrow?" At first, Anna gave short answers, but slowly, she began to answer in full sentences. Then she started asking him questions too. After 3 months, she could describe her day, explain her opinions, and even tell short stories. And do you know what James said? The best part wasn't just her progress. It was that we created a habit together. That's something we don't often talk about. How family and friends can support your learning. If you live with someone who speaks English, even a little, try using English for simple tasks. Say things like, "Can you pass me the salt?" Or, "What time is dinner?" These tiny conversations make a big difference over time. And if you don't have someone to speak with at home, try this. Create a character in your mind. For example, let's say her name is Emily. She is your imaginary conversation partner. You can say, "Hi, Emily. Today I woke up early and made tea. Then I checked my emails." It might feel strange at first, but it works. Talking out loud builds confidence, even if no one is listening. Now, let's talk about something else that can kill motivation: comparison. It's easy to look at others and think, "He speaks better than me," or "She learns faster." But remember, everyone has their own journey. Some people started learning years ago. Others live in English-speaking countries. Your situation is different, and that's okay. I remember a woman named Grace. She was in her 60s when she started learning English. She said, "Sometimes I feel slow, but I enjoy the process." Every morning, she read the news in English and wrote 2 sentences in her diary. After 1 year, she could understand podcasts, ask questions at the doctor's office, and even write emails. Not because she was the fastest learner, but because she never gave up. You see, learning English is like planting a tree. At first, nothing happens. Then a small leaf appears, then more branches grow. Over time, you have something strong and beautiful, but it takes water, sunlight, and patience. Your effort is the water. Your practice is the sunlight. And your belief in yourself is the patience. Another idea that helps many learners is teaching others. When you explain a word or grammar rule to someone else, you remember it better. Even if your English isn't perfect, you can help beginners. For example, I once met a man named Peter who was learning English for his job. After 6 months, he started helping new learners in his community. He explained basic words and corrected small mistakes. He said, "Helping others keeps me motivated because I see how far I've come." One more tip: change how you talk to yourself. Instead of saying, "I'll never learn this," try saying, "I'm learning a little every day." Instead of, "My accent is bad," say, "My pronunciation is improving." Your brain listens to your words. Be kind to yourself. Encourage yourself like you would encourage a friend. Sometimes you'll feel tired. That's normal on those days. Do something light. Review vocabulary, listen to this podcast, or repeat phrases you already know. The key is not to stop. Even small steps keep the habit alive. Let's take one more story. Thomas is a truck driver in Canada. He spends hours on the road and wanted to use that time to learn English. So he started listening to English audio lessons. While driving, he repeated phrases out loud. He practiced his pronunciation by talking to himself about road signs, weather, and what he was delivering. After 6 months, he felt more confident. Now he can give directions clearly, chat with customers, and even teach basic English to other drivers who are just starting. His secret? He used his time wisely. He didn't say, "I don't have time." He said, "How can I use my time better?" That's a powerful question. Ask yourself that too. Even if you're busy, there are small windows of time you can use. 5 minutes while waiting, 10 minutes before sleeping, or even just repeating a phrase while washing dishes. When we talk about staying motivated while learning English, one of the most helpful things is to remember why you started. Everyone has a reason. Maybe you want to get a better job, maybe you want to travel, maybe you want to help your children with schoolwork, or maybe you want to move to another country. Whatever your reason is, keep it clear in your mind. Write it on a piece of paper and stick it on your wall. Look at it every day. This helps remind you of the purpose behind all the hard work. Let me tell you about a man named David. He works in construction in Australia, but he is originally from Kenya. When he first moved, he could not understand people at work. They spoke too fast, and he felt embarrassed to ask questions. But David had a strong reason to improve. He wanted to become a supervisor, and for that, he needed to speak clear English. Every night, after a long day of work, he sat with a notebook and listened to simple English lessons. He wrote down useful words and practiced saying them out loud. At first, it was very hard, but David kept going. After 9 months, he could join team meetings, give short safety talks, and explain problems to his boss. He said the thing that helped him most was repeating the same words again and again until they became easy to say. His story shows that hard work and clear goals can help you make real progress. Now, let's talk about something many people feel: frustration. There will be days when you forget new words. There will be times when someone doesn't understand your pronunciation. These moments can make you feel bad, but they are part of learning. Even native speakers forget words or make mistakes. What matters is that you don't let one mistake stop you. Instead, try to think of it like this: every mistake you make teaches you something. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn. For example, Mary is a shop owner from Ireland. She helps her husband's cousin, Laura, who recently moved from Spain and is learning English. Laura used to say, "I'm terrible at this," every time she made a mistake. But Mary told her, "You're not terrible. You're learning. If you were terrible, you wouldn't be trying." Laura changed her attitude. She stopped saying negative things to herself. She started saying, "I'm still learning, but I'm improving." That small change made a big difference in her confidence. Another thing that helps is using your surroundings. Look around your house. You can label items in English. For example, write mirror on a sticky note and put it on your mirror. Write fridge on your refrigerator. You don't need to do this forever, just until your brain connects the English word with the object. You can also describe your actions while doing everyday tasks. For example, say, "I am folding clothes while folding your laundry," or "I am washing the plates while doing the dishes." This trains your brain to think in English, even during normal activities. Let me tell you a story about Nathan. He is a delivery driver in Texas. He spends a lot of time alone in his truck. He wanted to improve his English, but didn't have anyone to practice with. So he started talking out loud during his deliveries. He would say things like, "I am delivering a package to 6th Street," or "This customer's house has a red door." At first it felt strange, but over time, his vocabulary grew. He also started recording short voice messages to himself and playing them back to check his pronunciation. Within 6 months, his speaking became smoother, and he felt much more confident when talking to customers. Nathan used what he had. He didn't wait for a classroom or a perfect teacher. He used his time and voice as tools. Sometimes learners feel like they are too old to learn. That is not true. There is no age limit for learning. I once met a woman named Helen who started learning English when she was 70 years old. Her husband had passed away, and she wanted to join a community group in her town. Most of the meetings were in English. She didn't want to sit quietly in the back. She wanted to participate, so she started reading short stories in English and writing down new words in a notebook. Every Sunday, she practiced speaking with her neighbor, John. After a year, Helen was giving small speeches at the group meetings and even helping other older learners with vocabulary. She said learning English made her feel young again. Her story proves that you are never too old to start. Let's also talk about tiredness. Sometimes people feel too tired after work to study. That is normal. Learning does take energy, but there's a way to keep going, even on low energy days. Break your tasks into small parts. Instead of saying, "I will study English for 1 hour," say, "I will study English for 5 minutes." Start with 5. If you still feel tired after 5 minutes, stop and rest. But most of the time, once you begin, you will find the energy to continue a bit more. 5 minutes can become 10, then 20. The hardest part is starting. Sarah, who works as a receptionist in a hospital in New Zealand, uses this trick. She said, "I never feel like studying after a long shift, but I tell myself, just 5 minutes. I listen to one short English story or practice 10 words. Sometimes that turns into half an hour." It's not about studying for hours. It's about being consistent and starting, even when it's hard. Another helpful trick is to change your study method when you feel bored. If you usually write in a notebook, try speaking instead. If you usually listen, try writing. Mixing your methods keeps your brain fresh. Think of learning English like exercising. If you only do one kind of exercise every day, you'll get bored. But if you walk one day, stretch the next, and lift light weights another day, it stays interesting. It's the same with language learning. Use different muscles. Also, don't study too much grammar all the time. Focus more on real communication. Learn useful phrases like, "Can you explain that again?" Or, "I don't understand this word." These phrases are gold. They help you stay in a conversation, even when it gets hard. Remember Paul, a chef in South Africa. He struggled to follow cooking instructions in English, so he created a small notebook of kitchen phrases like stir gently, add salt, and cook until soft. He read it every morning before work. He even practiced saying the instructions out loud while cooking at home. That helped him remember better. Eventually, his manager noticed his improvement and asked him to train new staff, all because Paul took control of his learning and focused on what he needed most. And here's another thing. Don't wait for someone to teach you. Be your own teacher. If you hear a new word, repeat it. Try using it in a sentence. If you don't understand something, look it up. Learning is not just about listening. It's about doing. Speak, write, read, ask, repeat. Every action builds your skill. Even if no one corrects you, your brain is still learning. Even if your pronunciation is not perfect today, it will improve tomorrow if you keep practicing. Motivation is like a small fire. If you feed it a little every day, it keeps burning. But if you ignore it, the fire goes out. So feed it with practice, with goals, with stories, with hope. One of the most powerful ways to stay motivated while learning English is to make English a part of your daily life, not just something you do when you have free time. This means connecting English with real-life tasks, even the small ones. For example, let's say you're making breakfast. While you're cooking, you can say things like, "I am cracking 2 eggs," or "I am toasting the bread." If you are cleaning your room, you can say, "I am folding the blanket," or "I am sweeping the floor." These may seem like simple actions, but every time you speak a sentence in English, you are training your brain to think in English. Over time, this helps you become more natural and fluent. Let me tell you a story about Olivia. She is a mother of 3 children and works as a nurse in the UK. Her schedule is always full, and she has very little free time. When she started learning English, she felt overwhelmed. She didn't know where to begin, but she had a goal. She wanted to speak English well so she could communicate with the doctors and patients more confidently. Instead of waiting for the perfect time, Olivia started using English during her regular tasks. When she cooked dinner, she listened to short English lessons. When she cleaned the house, she practiced speaking to herself about what she was doing. She even made flashcards with medical words and stuck them on the fridge. Every time she walked by, she would read one word out loud. Slowly, her vocabulary grew and she became more confident. One day, her supervisor asked her to train a new nurse who had just moved from India. Olivia smiled and said, "If you practice every day, you'll get better." That's what I did. Another way to keep going is to make learning English more personal. For example, think about your own life, your family, your job, your home, your city, and describe it in English. You don't need to use difficult words. Just start with what you know. If you have a garden, describe your garden. If you have children, describe their daily routine. If you work in a shop, talk about your work in English. This kind of practice is useful because the words are connected to your real life, and they will stay in your memory longer. Here's a story about Henry. He's a farmer in a small town in Canada. He wanted to learn English to sell his produce at the local market where many tourists came. At first, he didn't know what to say, and he felt nervous. But then he started. Describing his farm in English, he would say, "These are carrots," or "These tomatoes are fresh." Every day, he added one or two more sentences. He practiced saying prices, describing his vegetables, and greeting people. After a few months, he felt more comfortable talking to customers. Many of them even complimented him on his English. Henry told me, "I didn't go to school for this. I just practiced a little every day. That's all." Now, let's talk about another helpful idea. Try to create your own English space. This doesn't mean you need a separate room. It can be a small corner of your house, or even just your phone. You can create a small English environment by changing your phone's language settings, keeping an English notebook nearby, and putting simple English posters or vocabulary lists on the wall. When you see English words around you every day, your brain gets used to them. This helps you stay connected to the language, even when you're not studying formally. Claire, a teacher from South Africa, helped her husband John do this when he started learning English. They turned one corner of the living room into a little English area. There was a small whiteboard with new words, a shelf with English storybooks, and a notebook where he wrote sentences every day. Even their 5-year-old son helped by drawing pictures for new vocabulary. John said that this small space made him feel like English was part of his daily life, not just something he had to do for a test. That made it easier to stay motivated. Another useful method is setting very small goals that you can reach easily. Some people try to do too much at once and then feel disappointed when they cannot keep up. Instead, make your goals simple and clear. For example, learn 3 new words. Today, write 1 paragraph about your morning. Listen to 5 minutes of an English podcast. Repeat 10 sentences out loud. These goals may seem small, but when you do them every day, they lead to big results. Just like bricks build a house, small actions build strong English skills. Let me share the story of Jacob. He's a taxi driver in New York. He meets many English-speaking passengers every day. When he first started his job, he only knew a few English phrases like, "Where are you going?" and "Please put on your seatbelt." But he wanted to be able to have real conversations. So every day he set a small goal. One day he practiced asking, "Do you want the air conditioning on?" The next day, he learned how to say, "How was your flight?" He kept a notebook in his car and added 1 new sentence every day. Now, after 1 year, Jacob can have 10-minute conversations with passengers. He even gets tips from happy customers who enjoy talking to him. All of this started with 1 sentence a day. It's also important to remember that rest is part of learning. Your brain needs time to process new information. If you study for hours without rest, you may forget more than you remember. That's why short, focused practice is better than long, tiring sessions. Study for 15 minutes, then take a break. Walk, stretch, drink water, and then return. This helps your brain absorb the language better. A woman named Emma followed this method. She was preparing for an English exam and used to study for 2 or 3 hours without stopping. She often felt tired and stressed, but when she changed her routine to include short breaks, she noticed a big improvement. She studied for 25 minutes, then took a 5-minute break. During the break, she didn't think about English at all. After the break, her mind was fresh again, and she could focus better. This method is called the Pomodoro technique. and many learners find it helpful. It helps you stay motivated because you don't feel exhausted after studying. One more idea is to review often. Many learners forget what they studied last week because they never go back to it. Try to review your vocabulary and grammar every few days. You can make flashcards, write a short review of what you learned, or test yourself. This keeps the knowledge fresh in your mind. Also, when you see that you remember something from last week or last month, you feel proud. That feeling gives you the energy to keep going. Peter, an accountant from the UK, uses a simple system for review. He keeps 3 boxes on his desk. One box is for new words, one is for words he is still practicing, and the last is for words he knows well. Every day he picks cards from each box. He spends time reviewing the new ones, practicing the ones in the middle box, and quickly checking the easy ones. He says it feels like a small game, and it helps him see progress. Peter said, "Every time I move a card from the new box to the easy box, I feel like I'm winning." Another way to stay motivated is to imagine your future self. Picture yourself speaking English confidently. Picture yourself in a job interview, in a restaurant, or helping your child with homework, all in English. That picture can be very powerful. It gives you a reason to keep going, even on the hard days. Every time you learn a new word or complete a sentence, you are getting closer to that future version of yourself. Let me tell you about Rachel. She wanted to work at an international airport as a customer service agent. Her English was not strong, but she imagined herself standing at the counter, smiling, answering questions, and helping travelers. That picture in her mind was so clear that it kept her focused. She practiced speaking every evening with her cousin, who was also learning English. She prepared role plays where she acted as the airport worker, and her cousin played the traveler. After 1 year, Rachel got the job. She said the reason she never gave up was because she kept seeing her future self every day. You can do the same. You can create your own future in your mind. Keep it clear, keep it strong, and keep moving toward it with small steps every day. Learning English is not a quick race. It is a slow and steady journey. But the people who succeed are the ones who keep going, not because it is easy, but because they believe it is worth it. And it is. Motivation is not something that just stays the same every day. Some days you will feel strong and ready to learn. Other days you will feel tired or unsure. That is normal. The important thing is to build a system that supports you even when your motivation is low. One way to do this is by making English part of your routine. When you do something at the same time every day, it becomes a habit. And when something is a habit, you don't need to think about it or push yourself too hard. You just do it. Let's talk about Michael. He works in a printing shop in Scotland. His goal was to speak English more fluently because many customers spoke English and he didn't want to depend on others to translate for him. He had tried learning before, but always gave up after a few weeks. One day, he decided to set a clear routine. Every morning, after brushing his teeth, he listened to a 5-minute English podcast. During lunch, he read one short article in English. In the evening, before bed, he wrote 5 sentences about his day in a notebook. These were small tasks, but he did them every single day. After 2 months, he could understand his customers better. After 6 months, he was having short conversations with confidence. After 1 year, he said he felt like a completely different person. His success didn't come from a big event. It came from small actions repeated every day. That's the power of a routine. Another thing that helps is connecting your English practice to real situations. When you study words that you can use right away, it feels more useful, and that keeps you motivated. For example, if you work in an office, learn words related to email, meetings, and teamwork. If you are a parent, learn how to talk about school, food, and health. When you use the words you learn in real life, they become part of you, and they stay in your memory longer. Sophie is a receptionist in a medical clinic. When she started learning English, she spent time learning general vocabulary. But she quickly realized that most of the words she needed were related to patient care, appointments, and polite greetings. So she focused on those. She wrote down phrases like, "Please fill out this form," and "The doctor will see you soon." She practiced these every morning before work. After 3 months, she was using those phrases with real patience. She said, "It felt great to use something I learned the night before." That kind of quick result keeps you motivated because you feel progress right away. Some learners also enjoy using short dialogues to practice. This is especially useful when you want to improve your speaking and listening at the same time. You can read both parts of a short conversation out loud. You can change the names or the places to make the dialogue more personal. This makes practice more fun and helps you remember the phrases better. For example, let's say you create a simple dialogue between two people at the store. You can say, "John, hello, can I help you?" Emma, "Yes, I'm looking for a bag of rice." John, "It's on the second shelf, next to the sugar." Emma, "Thank you very much." John, "You're welcome. Have a good day." If you read this out loud a few times, and then change it by using your own name or a store near your house, it becomes part of your memory. You can also record yourself reading both parts and listen to it later. Many learners find that this kind of speaking practice helps build fluency faster than just reading alone. Also, it's helpful to reward yourself. When you finish a study session or reach a goal, give yourself something nice. It doesn't have to be big. It could be a short walk outside, a cup of tea, or even just some quiet time. These small rewards make your brain feel good about learning, and that helps you stay motivated to keep going. Let's take the example of Ben. He is a baker in a small town in Ireland. He studies English every evening after work. He told himself that if he completes his 15-minute lesson, he can enjoy a warm cup of tea and sit on his balcony for a few minutes. That small reward became part of his routine, and it made him feel happy and relaxed. He said, "When I sit with my tea, I feel proud that I did my practice." The feeling of progress and pride is a strong source of motivation. You can also use positive self-talk to help your motivation. What you say to yourself matters. If you keep saying, "This is too hard," or "I'm not good at this," you will start to believe it. But if you say, "I'm learning something new every day," or "I'm getting better, slowly but surely," you will begin to believe that too. The way you talk to yourself can lift you up or bring you down. Choose kind and encouraging words. Let's look at what Lily did. She is a student who moved from Poland to the United States. When she first joined school, she couldn't understand the teachers. She cried many times at night because she felt lost. But then, her older brother told her something simple. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a friend. So, she stopped saying, "I'm stupid." She started saying, "I'm doing my best. I will understand more tomorrow." Slowly, her confidence returned. She started raising her hand in class and asking questions. Now she helps new students feel welcome. Lily changed her future by changing her words. Also, don't forget that mistakes are part of the process. Every successful learner has made hundreds or even thousands of mistakes. Mistakes mean that you are trying, and trying is what makes you better. No one speaks perfect English all the time. Not even native speakers. What matters is that you keep going and that you learn from each mistake. There's a story about Mark, who works as a plumber in England. He once went to fix a pipe at a hotel and needed to ask the manager for help. He got nervous and said, "I broke your water," when he meant, "The water pipe is broken." The manager laughed, but he was kind and helped him with the right words. Mark felt embarrassed, but he remembered the correction. He never made that mistake again. From that day, Mark wrote down all his mistakes and practiced saying the correct version. Over time, his speech improved. He said, "Now I laugh at my old mistakes. They taught me more than my books." Another great strategy is to teach others what you know. If you have friends or family members who are also learning English, help them. Even if you are not an expert, you can still explain simple things. When you teach someone else, you review the material in your own mind. It helps you remember better and understand more deeply. Susan is a mother who moved to Canada with her family. She was learning English so she could help her children with school. One day, she joined a group of mothers at her child's school who were also learning English. She started helping one of them, a woman named Priya, understand school forms and write simple notes to teachers. Susan said, "When I helped Priya, I remembered things better myself." That act of helping gave her more confidence, and it also gave her a reason to keep studying. It's also important to measure your progress, not just by tests, but by real-life actions. Can you now understand the news better than before? Can you talk to your child's teacher with fewer pauses? Can you write a short email without help? These are all signs of progress. Keep a journal or a checklist where you write what you've learned or done each week. This gives you something to look back at when you feel stuck. Let's talk about Anna. She works in a bookstore. Every Sunday, she writes down 3 things she learned that week in English. One week it was how to give directions. Another week it was past tense verbs. And another week it was phrases for customer service. After a few months, she looked back and saw pages filled with her progress. She said, "Even on my worst days, I can open my notebook and see how far I've come." And finally, remember that learning English is not about being perfect. It is about making progress. Every new word you learn, every sentence you speak, every question you ask, that is progress. You are building something important, and it takes time, but it is possible. And the more you believe in yourself, the more you will grow. Keep showing up for yourself every day. The results will come. One very important part of learning English and staying motivated is understanding that progress is not always quick. Sometimes you might feel like you are moving very slowly, and that can be discouraging. But it is important to remember that language learning is like building a wall brick by brick. You cannot build a wall in one day. It takes time and patience. Every new word you learn is like a brick. Every sentence you practice is another brick. Over time, those bricks make a strong wall. So, even if your progress seems slow, it is still progress. You are building your skills step by step. Let me tell you about Andrew. He works as a security guard in London. When he first arrived, his English was very basic. He could say hello and ask simple questions, but he could not understand most of what people said. Andrew felt frustrated. He wanted to speak better quickly, but did not see fast results. However, he did not give up. He kept practicing every day. He listened to English radio while walking to work. He read simple English books before sleeping. He tried to speak English with his coworkers during breaks. At first, it was hard. Sometimes people spoke too fast or used words he did not know. But Andrew kept going. After 1 year, he noticed he could understand more and speak more clearly. Now, after 2 years, Andrew can have full conversations and even help new coworkers with their English. His story shows that patience and steady effort are keys to success. Another way to stay motivated is to focus on your strengths, not just your weaknesses. Sometimes learners spend all their time trying to fix mistakes and forget to celebrate what they do well. But noticing your strengths helps you feel confident and encourages you to keep learning. For example, Rachel is a student from Canada. She is very good at understanding written English, but struggles with speaking. Instead of focusing only on her speaking difficulties, she also practices reading and writing, which she enjoys. Every time she finishes reading a story or writing a paragraph, she feels proud. That positive feeling helps her stay motivated to practice speaking more. She says, "When I remember what I do well, I don't feel afraid to try the harder parts." It is also important to have a variety of activities when you learn English. Doing the same thing every day can become boring and make you want to stop. Mixing different activities keeps your brain interested and motivated. For example, on Monday, you can listen to a short story. On Tuesday, you can write sentences about your day. On Wednesday, you can practice speaking by reading dialogues aloud. On Thursday, you can learn new vocabulary using flashcards. On Friday, you can watch a video or listen to a podcast. On Saturday, you can review what you learned during the week. On Sunday, you can rest or do light practice like reviewing words. This variety helps you use different skills. Listening helps you understand others. Speaking helps you express yourself. Reading helps you learn new words and grammar. Writing helps you organize your thoughts. Using all these skills together helps you improve faster and keeps your learning interesting. Let me tell you about Emma and James. They are a married couple from Australia. Emma likes reading and writing. James prefers listening and speaking. They decided to help each other. Emma reads English stories and shares interesting sentences with James. James listens to podcasts and practices speaking by repeating what he hears. They also practice together by having simple conversations. This way, they help each other and stay motivated. They said learning together makes it more fun and less lonely. Another important thing is to ask for help when you need it. Sometimes, learners try to do everything alone, but learning with support is easier and more motivating. You can ask a teacher, a friend, or even use online groups to practice. Getting feedback helps you know what to improve and gives you encouragement. For example, Paul is a mechanic from New Zealand. He started learning English alone. Sometimes he felt stuck and did not know if he was saying things correctly. Then he joined an online English group where members practice speaking together. He started asking questions and getting answers from other learners and teachers. This helped him understand his mistakes and feel more confident. He said, "When I get help, I feel like I am not alone. That keeps me going." It is also helpful to celebrate your successes, even small ones. If you learn 5 new words, celebrate. If you speak English with a customer, celebrate. If you understand a conversation on the phone, celebrate. Recognizing your achievements helps you feel proud and keeps your motivation strong. For example, Sarah is a cashier in a supermarket. She wanted to improve her English to talk better with customers. One day, she successfully helped a customer find an item and explained it in English. She felt very happy. She told her husband about it, and he congratulated her. That made her want to keep learning. Small celebrations like this are important. Another tip is to keep a learning diary or journal. Every day, write a few sentences about what you did to learn English, what new words you learned, and what you found difficult. Writing helps your brain remember better. Looking back at your diary after a few weeks shows you how much you have improved. John is a taxi driver in Chicago. He writes in his diary every night. Some days, he writes about the new phrases he learned. Other days, he writes about the mistakes he made and what he learned from them. He said, "My diary helps me see progress. It reminds me to keep going." Sometimes, when you feel tired or unmotivated, it helps to take a short break from studying. A day or two off can refresh your mind. You will return with more energy and focus. Taking care of yourself is part of learning. You cannot do your best if you are always tired or stressed. Let me tell you about Lucy. She works as a nurse in Canada. She studies English after work. Some weeks are busy, and she feels too tired to study. When she feels like this, she allows herself to rest for a day or two. Then she starts again. This helps her stay healthy and avoid burnout. She said, "Taking breaks makes me stronger for learning." Also, try to imagine yourself using English in real life. Think about the places you want to go, the people you want to talk to, and the things you want to do with English. Imagining. These scenes helps your brain connect learning with your dreams. This makes learning feel more useful and motivates you to keep going. For example, Thomas is a delivery driver in London. He imagines himself speaking English clearly to customers. He imagines asking questions, giving directions, and chatting about the weather. These images help him practice phrases and vocabulary related to his job. He says, "Imagining real conversations makes learning easier and more fun." In addition, you can set both short-term and long-term goals. Short-term goals are things you want to achieve soon, like learning 10 new words this week. Long-term goals are bigger, like passing an English exam or getting a new job. Having both kinds of goals helps you stay focused. You have small steps to celebrate along the way and a big dream to keep you going. Jennifer is a teacher from the United States. She wants to become fluent in English to teach abroad. Her short-term goals include practicing speaking every day and learning new vocabulary. Her long-term goal is to pass the advanced English exam in 1 year. She tracks her goals in a notebook and feels proud when she completes them. She says, "Goals help me see where I am and where I want to go." Finally, remember that learning English is a journey. It is not about being perfect. It is about making progress one step at a time. Every day you practice, you are getting better. You are moving closer to your dreams. Keep going. Believe in yourself. You can do this. When learning English, it is very helpful to make small habits that you do every day. Habits are actions that you do without thinking much. When you have a habit, you don't have to use a lot of willpower or energy to do something. For example, Brushing your teeth is a habit. You do it every morning and night. Learning English can be like that too. If you decide to do one small English activity every day, soon it will become a habit. Then, even if you do not feel like it, your brain will remember to do it. For example, Jack is a bus driver in London. He wanted to learn English to talk better with his passengers. Jack decided to learn 5 new words every morning while eating breakfast. He also decided to listen to one short English podcast episode during his bus ride. At night, he wrote 3 sentences about his day in a notebook. At first, it was difficult. Sometimes he forgot to do these things. But after 2 months, Jack said it was easier because it became a habit. He said, "Now I do my English practice without thinking. It is part of my day." Small habits like this help you learn English step by step. Another important point is to practice all skills of English: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Sometimes learners focus only on one skill, like reading. But English is a complete language. You need to practice all parts to improve. For example, listening helps you understand others. Speaking helps you express your ideas. Reading helps you learn new words and grammar. Writing helps you organize your thoughts and remember better. Emma is a teacher from Canada. She wanted to improve her English skills to work better with her students. She made a plan to practice all skills. In the morning, she listened to an English story. During the day, she tried to speak English with her friends at work. In the evening, she read a book in English. Before sleeping, she wrote a diary entry. Emma said, "Practicing all skills helped me feel confident. I can listen, speak, read, and write better." She encourages learners to balance their practice. Sometimes learners feel shy or scared to speak English. This is very normal. Speaking can be hard because you worry about mistakes or not being understood. But the only way to improve speaking is to practice speaking. Don't wait until you are perfect. Start with simple sentences. Speak slowly and clearly. Over time, your speaking will become better. Michael works as a waiter in Australia. When he started, he was very shy and afraid to talk with customers. But he decided to try. He practiced simple greetings and questions. He listened to customers and repeated what they said. Sometimes, customers helped him with words. Michael said, "The first time I spoke English at work was scary, but after practice, I feel comfortable." Speaking practice is key to confidence. It is also helpful to set realistic and clear goals. Goals give you direction. Without goals, it is easy to feel lost or tired. Goals do not have to be big. They can be small and simple. For example, learning 10 new words in a week or writing a short paragraph every day. When you reach your goals, you feel proud and motivated to continue. Sarah is a nurse in New Zealand. She wanted to improve her English to help patients better. She set a goal to learn 5 medical words every week. She kept a notebook and wrote new words with their meanings. When she finished a week, she tested herself. Sarah said, "Small goals make learning easier. I can see my progress, and that motivates me." Setting clear goals is useful for all learners. Reviewing what you learn is very important. Without review, we forget things quickly. Review helps your brain remember words and rules better. You can review by reading notes again, using flashcards, or practicing conversations. Regular review builds strong knowledge. David is a driver in Canada. He learned new words at work, but sometimes forgot them. He made flashcards and reviewed them every day. David said, "Reviewing helped me remember words. Now I feel more confident when I speak. Reviewing is a simple but powerful tool. Sometimes life is busy and you cannot study for a long time. That is okay. It is better to study a little every day than a lot one day and nothing after. Even 10 minutes a day helps you improve. Try to use small moments for English. Anna works as a receptionist in England. Her days are busy. She listens to English podcasts while walking to work. She repeats new words during coffee breaks. Anna said, "Short practice fits my day. I do a little bit every day." Consistent practice, even if small, helps you learn. Talking to yourself. In English is a useful exercise. You can describe what you do or tell a simple story. This helps you practice speaking and thinking in English. It also helps you find new words and ideas. James is a father in the United States. He talks to himself while cooking or cleaning. He says, "I use simple sentences like, I am washing dishes," or "I am going to the store." It helps me practice. Speaking alone is a good way to build confidence. Labeling things in your house with English words is another easy way to learn. Put sticky notes on objects like door, window, chair. This helps your brain remember the words and connect them to real things. Lisa is a student in Australia. She labeled items in her room and practiced saying the words daily. Lisa said, "Labels help me learn every day. It is a simple way to remember words. Using your environment helps learning." Positive thinking is very important for motivation. Believe that you can learn English. When you believe in yourself, you try harder. When you do not believe, it is easy to give up. Rachel is a student who once struggled. Her teacher said, "Believe in yourself." Rachel changed her thoughts and practiced more. She said, "Believing in myself helped me improve." Positive. Thoughts help learning. Remember that mistakes are part of learning. Everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes show you are trying. Learn from them and keep going. Don't fear mistakes. Mark is a mechanic in England. He made mistakes when speaking, but learned from corrections. Now he speaks better and laughs at old mistakes. Mistakes are useful. Teaching others what you know helps you learn more. When you explain to friends or family, you remember better. It also builds confidence. Susan is a mother in Canada. She helps friends learn English. She said, "Helping others helped me remember and practice." Teaching is good for motivation. Keep a diary of your learning. Write what you learned and what was hard. Reviewing your diary shows your progress. John is a taxi driver in Chicago. He writes about his learning every day. John said, "My diary helps me see how far I've come." Writing helps memory. Taking breaks when tired is important. Rest refreshes your mind. You can study better after a break. Lucy is a nurse in Canada. She rests when tired and studies again after. She said, "Breaks keep me healthy and motivated." Rest helps learning. Imagine yourself using English in real life. Think about places and people. This makes learning useful and motivates you. Thomas is a delivery driver in London. He imagines conversations and practices related words. He said, "Imagining real life helps me learn." Visualization helps motivation. Set short-term and long-term goals. Short-term are small steps. Long-term are big dreams. Goals help you focus. Jennifer is a teacher in the U.S. She wants to teach abroad. She sets daily and yearly goals. Jennifer said, "Goals guide me." Goals help motivation. Learning English. is a journey with good and hard days. Keep moving forward. Every word learned is progress. You can do this. Keep practicing. Learning English is a long journey. It takes time and effort every day. It is important to have patience. Sometimes progress is slow. You may feel tired or frustrated. This is normal. Everyone feels this way at some point. The key is to keep going. Even small steps forward are progress. Do not give up. Remember why you started learning English. Think about your goals. When you feel tired, think about what you want to achieve. This will help you stay motivated. For example, David works as a driver in the United States. When he started learning English, he could only say a few words. He wanted to speak better to communicate with his customers. David made a plan to practice English every day. Some days, he practiced for 30 minutes. Some days he only practiced for 5 minutes. Even on days when he was very busy, he tried to do something small. He listened to English radio while driving. He repeated words and phrases he heard. After 1 year, David said he could speak much better. His advice to learners is to be patient and consistent. He said, if you practice a little every day, you will improve. Making a daily routine helps a lot. When you have a routine, your brain knows when it is time to study. You do not have to think about it. It becomes a habit. For example, you can decide to practice English for 15 minutes after breakfast, or listen to an English podcast on your way to work, or write a short paragraph before bed. When you do this every day, it becomes normal. Even if you do not feel like studying, you do it because it is part of your routine. Emma is a nurse in Canada. She wanted to improve her English for work. She made a daily routine. Every morning, she listened to a short English lesson. Every evening, she wrote a few sentences about her day. Emma said, "My routine helps me study even when I am tired. It makes learning easier." Having a routine is very helpful for motivation. It is also important to practice different skills. English has 4 main skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. You should practice all 4. Listening helps you understand others. Speaking helps you express your ideas. Reading helps you learn new words. Writing helps you remember and organize your thoughts. When you practice all skills, you improve faster. John is a teacher in England. He practices English by listening to podcasts, speaking with friends, reading books, and writing emails. John said, "I feel confident because I practice all skills." Try to include different activities in your learning. Speaking English can be difficult at first. Many learners feel shy or afraid to make mistakes. But making mistakes is normal. Mistakes help you learn. When you speak, do not worry about being perfect. Speak slowly and clearly. Practice with friends, family, or teachers. The more you speak, the better you get. Michael works as a waiter in Australia. When he started learning English, he was very shy. He did not want to speak with customers, but he practiced small sentences every day. Now he speaks confidently. Michael said, "Speaking practice helped me a lot." Try to speak English every day. Setting clear goals helps keep you focused. Goals can be small or big. For example, learn 10 new words this week. Write a paragraph every day. Speak with a friend twice a week. When you reach your goals, you feel proud. This keeps you motivated. Sarah is a student in New Zealand. She sets weekly goals. Every Sunday, she plans what to study. Sarah said, "Goals help me know what to do. Make simple goals and follow them. Reviewing what you learn is very important. If you do not review, you forget. Review helps your brain remember words and rules. You can review with flashcards, notes, or conversations. Review regularly to keep your knowledge strong. David is a chef in Canada. He reviews new words every day. David said, "Reviewing helps me remember better. Make time for review." Sometimes life is busy. You may not have time to study a lot. It is better to study a little every day than nothing. Even 5 minutes helps. Anna is a receptionist in England. She listens to English podcasts during short breaks. Anna said, "Short practice fits my busy day." Try to use small moments for learning. Talking to yourself in English is a good exercise. Describe what you do or tell a story. This helps you practice speaking and thinking in English. James is a father in the U.S. He talks to himself while cooking or cleaning. James said, "Talking aloud helps me speak better." Practice speaking alone. Label objects in your home with English words. This helps you learn vocabulary. Put notes on door, window, chair, table, and so on. Lisa is a student in Australia. She labels her room. Lisa said, "Labels help me remember words." Use your environment to learn. Positive thinking is very important. Believe you can learn English. When you believe, you try harder. When you do not believe, it is easy to give up. Rachel is a student who struggled before. Her teacher said, "Believe in yourself." Rachel said, "Believing helped me." Think positive. Mistakes are part of learning. Everyone makes mistakes. Learn from them and keep going. Mark is a mechanic in England. He made mistakes but learned. Mark said, "Mistakes help me improve." Accept mistakes. Teaching others helps. You learn. Explain to friends or family. Teaching helps you remember. Susan is a mother in Canada. She helps friends learn English. Susan said, "Helping others helped me." Teach to learn. Keep a diary. Write what you learned and what was hard. Review your diary to see progress. John is a taxi driver in Chicago. He writes every day. John said, "Diary helps me see progress." Write daily. Take breaks. Rest helps your brain. Do not study too long. Lucy is a nurse in Canada. She takes breaks. Lucy said, "Breaks help me learn better." Rest is important. Imagine your future self speaking English well. Think about your goals. This helps motivation. Thomas is a driver in the UK. He imagines talking with customers. Thomas said, "Imagining helps me practice." Visualize your goals. Set short and long goals. Small steps lead to success. Track progress. Jennifer is a teacher in the U.S. She sets goals. Jennifer said, "Goals keep me focused." Set goals. Learning English is a journey. Some days are good, some hard. Keep moving forward. Every step counts. You can do this. Keep practicing every day. Learning English is like walking a long road. You need to keep walking even if the road is sometimes hard. You cannot run fast all the time. You must take small steps every day. When you walk a little bit every day, soon you will reach your destination. It is important to have patience and not give up. If you stop, you will not move forward. Even if you feel tired, it is better to walk slowly than to stop completely. For example, Simon is a factory worker in Manchester. He started learning English 2 years ago. At first, he only knew a few words. He wanted to speak better to talk with his co-workers. Simon practiced a little every day. He listened to the radio while cooking dinner. He read simple books before sleeping. He tried to speak English during breaks. Sometimes it was hard, and he felt tired, but he kept practicing. After 2 years, Simon can speak well and help new coworkers. He says, "Learning English is a slow process, but it works if you keep going. Having a good study plan is very important. A plan helps you use your time well. Without a plan, you may forget to study or study only what you like. A plan helps you study all parts of English. For example, you can make a plan to practice listening on Monday, reading on Tuesday, speaking on Wednesday, writing on Thursday, and review on Friday. On weekends, you can practice with friends or rest. A plan helps you be organized and see your progress." Emily is a nurse in Canada. She made a weekly plan to improve her English. She follows it every day. She says, "My plan helps me stay focused. I know what to study each day." Making a plan is easy and helpful. It is good to use many ways to learn. You can listen to stories, read books, speak with friends, and write sentences. Each way helps different skills. When you use many ways, you learn faster. Mark is a waiter in Australia. He listens to English podcasts, reads books, practices speaking, and writes a diary. He says, "Using different ways makes learning fun and effective. Try different activities to improve." Speaking is very important. Some learners are shy to speak, but speaking helps you learn fast. Do not worry about mistakes. Speak slowly and clearly. Practice speaking every day, even if only for a few minutes. John is a taxi driver in England. He practiced speaking with customers and friends. At first, he was shy. Now he is confident. He says, "Speaking helped me improve my English a lot." Practice speaking often. Setting goals helps you stay motivated. Goals can be small or big. For example, learn 5 new words every day or write a paragraph every week. When you reach your goals, you feel good and want to continue. Lisa is a student in New Zealand. She sets weekly goals and follows them. She says, "Goals help me know what to do." Make clear goals for your learning. Reviewing is important. Without review, you forget new words and rules. Review often by reading notes, flashcards, or practicing conversations. David is a chef in Canada. He reviews words daily. He says, "Reviewing helps me remember." Always review your learning. Life can be busy. You may not have time to study long hours. It is better to study a little every day than nothing. Even 5 minutes help. Anna is a receptionist in England. She listens to English podcasts during short breaks. She says, "Short practice fits my day." Use small moments to learn. Talking to yourself in English helps. Describe what you do or tell stories. It helps your speaking and thinking skills. James is a father in the U.S. He talks to himself while cooking. He says, "Talking aloud helps me speak better." Practice speaking alone. Label items in your home with English words. It helps you learn vocabulary. Put notes on door, window, chair, and table. Emma is a student in Australia. She labels her room. She says, "Labels help me remember words." Use your environment for learning. Think positive. Believe you can learn English. When you believe, you try harder. When you do not believe, it is easy to stop. Rachel is a student who struggled before. Her teacher said, "Believe in yourself." Rachel says, "Believing helped me." Think positive. Mistakes are part of learning. Everyone makes mistakes. Learn from mistakes and keep going. Mark is a mechanic in England. He made mistakes but learned. He says, "Mistakes help me improve." Accept mistakes. Teaching others helps learning. Explain to friends or family. Teaching helps you remember. Susan is a mother in Canada. She helps friends learn English. She says, "Helping others helped me." Teach to learn. Keep a diary. Write what you learned and what was hard. Review your diary to see progress. John is a taxi driver in Chicago. He writes every day. He says, "Diary helps me see progress. Write daily. Take breaks. Rest helps your brain. Do not study too long." Lucy is a nurse in Canada. She takes breaks. She says, "Breaks help me learn better." Rest is important. Imagine your future self speaking English well. Think about your goals. This helps motivation. Thomas is a driver in the UK. He imagines talking with customers. He says, "Imagining helps me practice." Visualize your goals. Set short and long goals. Small steps lead to success. Track progress. Jennifer is a teacher in the US. She sets goals. She says, "Goals keep me focused." Set goals. Learning English is a slow and steady process. It is not something that happens quickly. You have to work on it every day. It is like building a house. You start with small steps. First, you learn simple words, then you learn sentences. You practice speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Each day, you add a little more. Sometimes the work feels hard. You may want to stop. But if you keep going, you will see progress. Even when progress is small, it is still progress. It is important to keep a calm and steady attitude. Tom works in a supermarket in London. When he began learning English, he could only say a few words. He wanted to talk to customers and coworkers better. Tom decided to practice every day. He won't always listen to simple English stories on his phone during breaks. At home, he read easy books. He also wrote short sentences about his day. Sometimes Tom felt tired. Some days he practiced more, some days less. After a year, Tom noticed he could understand and speak much better. He said, "The secret is to practice every day, even if only a little." Tom's story shows that slow and steady work helps. Having a study schedule is very helpful. A schedule tells you what to do and when to do it. It keeps you organized. Without a schedule, you may forget to study or study only what you like. A good schedule includes different activities. For example, you can listen to English on Monday, read on Tuesday, speak on Wednesday, write on Thursday, and review on Friday. On weekends, you can practice with friends or rest. A schedule helps you study all parts of English and see your progress. Maria is a nurse in Canada. She made a weekly schedule and followed it. She said, "My schedule helps me stay focused. I know what to study every day." Making a schedule is easy and helps your learning. It is good to use different ways to learn English. You can listen to stories, read books, speak with friends, and write sentences. Each way helps a different skill. Using many ways helps you learn faster. If you only do one thing, you might get bored or slow down. James works in a restaurant in East Australia. He listens to English podcasts, reads books, speaks with coworkers, and writes a diary. He said, Using different ways makes learning more fun and helps me improve. Try to include different activities in your study. Speaking English can be difficult. Many learners feel shy or afraid to make mistakes. But making mistakes is normal. Mistakes help you learn. When you speak, do not worry about being perfect. Speak slowly and clearly. Practice speaking every day, even if only for a few minutes. Anna is a taxi driver in England. At first, she was shy to speak English, but she practiced small sentences with customers and friends. Now, she speaks confidently. Anna said, "Speaking practice helped me improve a lot." Try to speak English every day. Setting clear goals helps you stay motivated. Goals can be small or big. For example, learn 5 new words every day or write a paragraph every week. When you reach your goals, you feel proud and want to continue. Sarah is a student in New Zealand. She sets weekly goals and follows them. Sarah said, "Goals help me know what to do." Make clear goals for your study. Reviewing is important. Without review, you forget new words and rules. Review often by reading notes, flashcards, or practicing conversations. David is a chef in Canada. He reviews new words every day. David said, "Reviewing helps me remember better." Always review your learning. Life can be busy. You may not have time to study long hours. It is better to study a little every day than nothing. Even 5 minutes help. Lucy is a receptionist in England. She listens to English podcasts during short breaks. Lucy said, "Short practice fits my busy day. Use small moments to study. Talking to yourself in English helps. Describe what you do or tell stories. It helps your speaking and thinking skills." Michael is a father in the U.S. He talks to himself while cooking. Michael said, "Talking aloud helps me speak better." Practice speaking alone. Label items in your home with English words. It helps you learn vocabulary. Put notes on door, window, chair, and table. Emma is a student in Australia. She labels her room. Emma said, "Labels help me remember words." Use your environment for learning. Think positive. Believe you can learn English. When you believe, you try harder. When you do not believe, it is easy to stop. Rachel is a student who struggled before. Her teacher said, "Believe in yourself." Rachel said, "Believing helped me." Think positive. Mistakes are part of learning. Everyone makes mistakes. Learn from mistakes and keep going. Mark is a mechanic in England. He made mistakes but learned. Mark said, "Mistakes help me improve." Accept mistakes. Teaching others helps learning. Explain to friends or family. Teaching helps you remember. Susan is a mother in Canada. She helps friends learn English. Susan said, "Helping others helped me." Teach to learn. Keep a diary. Write what you learned and what was hard. Review your diary to see progress. John is a taxi driver in Chicago. He writes every day. John said, "Diary helps me see progress." Write daily, take breaks. Rest helps your brain. Do not study too long. Lisa is a nurse in Canada. She takes breaks. Lisa said, "Breaks help me learn better." Rest is important. Imagine your future self speaking English well. Think about your goals. This helps motivation. Thomas is a driver in the UK. He imagines talking with customers. Thomas said, "Imagining helps me practice." Visualize your goals. Set short and long goals. Small steps lead to success. Track progress. Jennifer is a teacher in the U.S. She sets goals. Jennifer said, Goals keep me focused. Set goals. Learning English is a journey. Some days are good, some hard. Keep moving forward. Every step counts. You can do this. Keep practicing every day. Learning English is like planting a tree. You have to give it water every day and take care of it. At first, the tree is small and you do not see much change. But if you keep watering and caring for it, the tree grows slowly. The same is true for learning English. You may not see big progress every day, but if you keep practicing regularly, you will improve step by step. James is a delivery driver in London. When he started learning English, he knew only a few words. He wanted to talk to his customers better. James decided to practice a little every day. He listened to English radio while driving. He also read easy books before sleeping. Sometimes James felt tired or busy, but he did not stop. After 1 year, he said, "I can speak English better now. It is because I practiced every day." His story shows that small daily practice helps a lot. Having a study plan is very useful. A plan helps you organize your time and know what to do. Without a plan, you might forget to study or only do things you like. A good plan includes different activities. For example, you can listen to English on Monday, read on Tuesday, speak on Wednesday, write on Thursday, and review on Friday. On weekends, you can practice with friends or rest. A plan helps you study all parts of English and see your progress. Emily is a nurse in Canada. She made a weekly plan and followed it every day. She said, "My plan helps me stay focused. I know what to study each day." Making a plan is simple and helpful. Using many ways to learn English is important. You can listen to stories, read books, speak with friends, and write sentences. Each way helps a different skill. Using many ways helps you learn faster. If you only do one thing, you may get bored or slow down. Michael is a waiter in Australia. He listens to English podcasts, reads books, speaks with coworkers, and writes a diary. He said, "Using different ways makes learning more fun and helps me improve." Try to include different activities in your study. Speaking English can be hard. Many learners feel shy or afraid to make mistakes, but making mistakes is normal. Mistakes help you learn. When you speak, do not worry about being perfect. Speak slowly and clearly. Practice speaking every day, even if only for a few minutes. Anna is a taxi driver in England. At first, she was shy to speak English, but she practiced small sentences with customers and friends. Now she speaks confidently. Anna said, "Speaking. Practice helped me improve a lot." Try to speak English every day. Setting clear goals helps you stay motivated. Goals can be small or big. For example, learn 5 new words every day or write a paragraph every week. When you reach your goals, you feel proud and want to continue. Sarah is a student in New Zealand. She sets weekly goals and follows them. Sarah said, "Goals help me know what to do." Make clear goals for your study. Reviewing is important. Without review, you forget new words and rules. Review often by reading notes, flashcards, or practicing conversations. David is a chef in Canada. He reviews new words every day. David said, "Reviewing helps me remember better." Always review your learning. Life can be busy. You may not have time to study long hours. It is better to study a little every day than nothing. Even 5 minutes help. Lucy is a receptionist in England. She listens to English podcasts during short breaks. Lucy said, Short practice fits my busy day. Use small moments to study. Talking to yourself in English helps. Describe what you do or tell stories. It helps your speaking and thinking. Skills. James is a father in the U.S. He talks to himself while cooking. James said, "Talking aloud helps me speak better." Practice speaking alone. Label items in your home with English words. It helps you learn vocabulary. Put notes on door, window, chair, and table. Emma is a student in Australia. She labels her room. Emma said, "Labels help me remember words." Use your environment for learning. Think positive. Believe you can learn English. When you believe, you try harder. When you do not believe, it is easy to stop. Rachel is a student who struggled before. Her teacher said, "Believe in yourself." Rachel said, "Believing helped me." Think positive. Mistakes are part of learning. Everyone makes mistakes. Learn from mistakes and keep going. Mark is a mechanic in England. He made mistakes but learned. Mark said, "Mistakes help me improve." Accept mistakes. Teaching others helps learning. Explain to friends or family. Teaching helps you remember. Susan is a mother in Canada. She helps friends learn English. Susan said, "Helping others helped me." Teach to learn. Keep a diary. Write what you learned and what was hard. Review your diary to see progress. John is a taxi driver in Chicago. He writes every day. John said, "Diary helps me see progress." Write daily, take breaks. Rest helps your brain. Do not study too long. Lisa is a nurse in Canada. She takes breaks. Lisa said, "Breaks help me learn better." Rest is important. Imagine your future self speaking English well. Think about your goals. This helps motivation. Thomas is a driver in the UK. He imagines talking with customers. Thomas said, "Imagining helps me practice." Visualize your goals. Set short and long goals. Small steps lead to success. Track progress. Jennifer is a teacher in the U.S. She sets goals. Jennifer said, "Goals keep me focused." Set goals. Learning English is a journey. Some days are good, some hard. Keep moving forward. Every step counts. You can do this. Keep practicing every day. Learning English is a very long journey. It is not something that happens quickly. You have to work on it every day. You have to be patient. Sometimes you will feel tired. Sometimes you will feel frustrated. This is normal. Everyone feels this way sometimes. The important thing is to keep going. Even if you make only small progress, it is progress. Do not give up. Remember your reasons for learning English. Think about what you want to achieve. This will help you stay motivated. For example, David works as a delivery driver in London. When he started learning English, he only knew a few words. He wanted to speak better so he could talk to his customers. David decided to practice a little every day. He listened to English radio while driving. He read simple books before going to sleep. Sometimes he felt tired. Sometimes he was busy, but he did not stop practicing. After 1 year, David said that he could speak English much better. He said, "The secret is to practice every day, even if only for a short time." His story shows that small daily practice helps a lot. Having a study plan is very useful. A plan helps you organize your time and know what to do. Without a plan, you might forget to study or only study what you like. A good plan includes different activities. For example, you can listen to English on Monday, read on Tuesday, speak on Wednesday, write on Thursday, and review on Friday. On weekends, you can practice with friends or rest. A plan helps you study all parts of English and see your progress. Emily is a nurse in Canada. She made My Steenpoet, a weekly plan, and followed it every day. She said, "My plan helps me stay focused. I know what to study every day." Making a plan is simple and helpful. Using many ways to learn English is important. You can listen to stories, read books, speak with friends, and write sentences. Each way helps a different skill. Using many ways helps you learn faster. If you only do one thing, you may get bored or slow down. Michael is a waiter in Australia. He listens to English podcasts, reads books, speaks with coworkers, and writes a diary. He said, "Using different ways makes learning more fun and helps me improve." Try to include different activities in your study. Speaking English can be hard. Many learners feel shy or afraid to make mistakes. But making mistakes is normal. Mistakes help you learn. When you speak, do not worry about being perfect. Speak slowly and clearly. Practice speaking every day, even if only for a few minutes. Anna is a taxi driver in England. At first, she was shy to speak English, but she practiced small sentences with customers and friends. Now she speaks confidently. Anna said, "Speaking. Practice helped me improve a lot." Try to speak English every day. Setting clear goals helps you stay motivated. Goals can be small or big. For example, learn 5 new words every day or write a paragraph every week. When you reach your goals, you feel proud and want to continue. Sarah is a student in New Zealand. She sets weekly goals and follows them. Sarah said, "Goals help me know what to do." Make clear goals for your study. Reviewing is important. Without review, you forget new words and rules. Review often by reading notes, flashcards, or practicing conversations. David is a chef in Canada. He reviews new words every day. David said, "Reviewing helps me remember better." Always review your learning. Life can be busy. You may not have time to study long hours. It is better to study a little every day than nothing. Even 5 minutes help. Lucy is a receptionist in England. She listens to English podcasts during short breaks. Lucy said, "Short practice fits my busy day." Use small moments to study. Talking to yourself in English helps. Describe what you do or tell stories. It helps your speaking and thinking skills. James is a father in the U.S. He talks to himself while cooking. James said, "Talking aloud helps me speak better." Practice speaking alone. Label items in your home with English words. It helps you learn vocabulary. Put notes on door, window, chair, and table. Emma is a student in Australia. She labels her room. Emma said, "Labels help me remember words." Use your environment for learning. Think positive. Believe you can learn English. When you believe, you try harder. When you do not believe, it is easy to stop. Rachel is a student who struggled before. Her teacher said, "Believe in yourself." Rachel said, "Believing helped me." Think positive. Mistakes are part of learning. Everyone makes mistakes. Learn from mistakes and keep going. Mark is a mechanic in England. He made mistakes but learned. Mark said, "Mistakes help me improve." Accept mistakes. Teaching others helps learning. Explain to friends or family. Teaching helps you remember. Susan is a mother in Canada. She helps friends learn English. Susan said, "Helping others helped me." Teach to learn. Keep a diary. Write what you learned and what was hard. Review your diary to see progress. John is a taxi driver in Chicago. He writes every day. John said, "Diary helps me see progress. Write daily, take breaks. Rest helps your brain. Do not study too long." Lisa is a nurse in Canada. She takes breaks. Lisa said, "Breaks help me learn better." Rest is important. Imagine your future self speaking English well. Think about your goals. This helps motivation. Thomas is a driver in the UK. He imagines talking with customers. Thomas said, "Imagining helps me practice." Visualize your goals. Set short and long goals. Small steps lead to success. Track progress. Jennifer is a teacher in the US. She sets goals. Jennifer said, "Goals keep me focused." Set goals.